Welcome to a live comic book community 411.
What
Mark,
up? What up? What up?
what is up? Good to have you back, right? We did, I was looking today, it was about 10 months ago that we did a pre recorded. I was doing these pre recorded and premiering them on Fridays, but recently decided to do it live so that we could get more interaction with, with the community.
Everybody loves the live show. That's where it's
Yeah,
at.
and it's a little easier too. I don't have to. It's a one and
Some of
done
my
type
teeth.
thing.
Yeah, some of my
You get
teeth here. All right, there we go.
so we're going to switch it up a little bit tonight. We usually do four standard questions that we ask all the guests, and then two random questions. But since you've been on, you've already answered those questions. So we'll have a link. I have a link down below to your first appearance. So if anybody wants to go check that out. And then we'll get in. We're gonna mix the questions up a little bit tonight, and maybe even take one or two from the chat. So, but before we get into my questions, why don't you tell everybody a little about yourself, a little bit about your channel?
I am Circumstances. Shit, most of you know who the fuck I am. My name is Marcus. I try to be funny on Instagram with the memes, and sometimes I'm funny, sometimes not so much. But either way, I'm always having fun, trying to be funny, trying to make fun of the silliness of grown men collecting comic books, because there's a lot of things that are silly about it, and I really try to have fun with that and kind of just try to be self-aware of the silliness that we do and have fun with it. I jumped back in. I was one of the pandemic collectors, and I came in real hot, real excited about it. Just happy to see people who enjoyed comic books and weren't ashamed of it. They had friends, they discussed it. It was something I never had. I collected comic books in the 90s, but none of my friends collected with me. They all made fun of me for it. So it was always a solo thing. So when I came online in 2021 and I saw this community building that had already been built and was growing every day, I was just completely enthralled by it. And I'm still here almost 3 years later.
That's good. Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, 3 years is pretty good. If you would have gotten tired of it already, you probably would have by now, right?
I would have thought I would have, I really thought. And the reason why, and there's a lot of stuff that I am tired of, actually. But what keeps me coming back is the people, obviously, the community, the fun that we have. That's really what it's all about. There's a lot of things that comic book people care about that I just don't give a fuck about. But what I do care about is the community and the people. I'm all in on that part of it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think it's the connections that you make, right? Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
our collecting, our the way we collect changes, over time.
Oh,
But
absolutely. Mhm.
the connection, like you said, the people that people that you've met, that definitely brings you back. So why don't we say hello before we jump into the first question? We'll say hello to the chat real quick. Lacrucius is here, first in.
Always the first.
Phil is here. Phil's Treehouse. It's such a great show on Sunday afternoons now, and
Check me out this past
we won't talk about the most recent show.
Check me out this past Sunday. I was on there with my comic book dad, Lorenzo. It was a competitive matchup. I won't reveal who won, but Brian kind of just did.
80s guys here. Durs is here. Cap, Comic Cap. Good to see you. Izzyverse. I think Izzyverse is. I thought he was. Was he? I thought I saw he was live on one of the shows tonight somewhere.
He
Drawing a blank.
usually is somewhere.
One of the live streams. Let's see. Roscoe's here. Pocan Joe. Joe, good to see you. Let's see.
These
Roscoe.
Modelo's are hitting. Sponsored by Modelo.
BLC is here. Big Lion Cat, good to see you. 23. Oh, I've got a bunch of people popping in the chat. Comic Joe.
Wow, the chat's popping. What's
Yeah.
up?
I think I got everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. So, so we're going to switch it up a little bit. Like I said, Marcus was a previous guest. So, and Marcus, you mentioned it. You try to be funny on Instagram with some of the memes, and a lot of times you're poking fun at yourself and your spending of money and how your wife reacts to it. So that's my first question for you. What does your wife make of this all?
Dude, such a good question because I'm a complete fraud. I'm a complete fraud. 99% of the scenarios that I build with my memes are completely fake. Like, I don't have constant arguments about the money I spend with my. I mean, it's just not like that at all. My wife, as long as I take care of my responsibilities and I'm paying the bills, my wife doesn't care what I do with my money. So it's really not this dynamic where I present it as she's constantly on my ass about spending money. It's completely made up, but there is truth in it that like there's a constant tension of what I want to buy in comic books and what I need. I don't need that 1 in 25 incentive from Art Germ, but god damn it, I want the damn thing. And there's that constant battle of do I spend the money or do I not spend the money? So yeah, my wife is completely supportive because she knows that it makes me happy. It keeps me level. It gives me something to focus on, to be obsessive about, which my ADHD requires me to obsess over things. And after giving up obsessing over politics, comic books has really been a nice replacement for that, and I'm really happy for it. I don't miss stressing about politics and things I can't control anymore. I just don't stress about it. I don't care about it because it doesn't matter in terms of my everyday life because I can't like I spent a lot of time letting things I could not control ruin my day. And I'm really focused on just if it's going to ruin my day, it better be something I can control. If it's something I can't control, then fuck it, man. I'll move on.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's really what I've been focused on is, I'm 44. I just turned 44 June 10th. And I'm just at that point where, you're looking down the barrel of the rest of your life and deciding how do you want to live it. And I want to have fun, man. I don't want to be angry every day like I was with politics. I just want to have fun and be happy. And so that's what I'm focused on. And that's a big what comic books is really a big part of allowing me to do that. This not just the comic books, but people like you, Brian, the CBC Awards, the people in the chat right now. You guys mean so much to me. I mean, it really is a big deal. And it's so nice to know that you guys are out there talking about, arguing about, obsessing over comic books, whether I'm plugged in or not. It's nice to know you guys are
I,
there.
but I mean, I had a similar experience probably in my early 40s too. Probably I think when I hit 40, same thing. Like I was really focused more on things, like you said, that are inside your control because those things outside of your control, if they stress you out, they get you angry,
Yeah,
but you can't do anything about it, right?
not
So,
a fucking thing.
right. So why spend any energy, thought, mental thought on them at all because you can't change it. So it was one
And
of the things
from
that really
yeah,
helped me like reduce my stress in my life, just really making that change of just trying to focus on and things that were important. My wife, my children, things in my immediate control.
yeah. And for me, it was about like not only like things I can control, but like just worrying about why other people do the things they do or vote the way they vote or how they could possibly support someone who is a certain sort of way, like just really stressing about the people around me and how could they possibly be this way. And it's just a dead end road that didn't lead to any answers. It just led to sadness. So it's like I'm Mr. I don't give a fuck now. Legion of Comics pointed out once where, sometimes when I say I don't give a fuck, I actually do care. I'm just willing myself to not care. And he's exactly right. There are times when, you have an argument presented to you and you have an opinion about it and you kind of care, but you will yourself to not care because that engagement's not worth your time. And that's where I'm at now. It's like, a lot of times when I say I don't give a fuck, maybe I do give a fuck, but as far as you are concerned, I don't give a fuck, and this is
I'm not
the
going
end
to
of it.
engage, right?
Yeah,
You're not going to go
yeah,
the back and forth.
yeah. Because like it goes down to end of my life. How do I want to spend that time? I don't want to spend that time arguing about dumb shit on the internet. Yeah,
Yeah, there's plenty of other people that do that. So
yeah, all over. Yeah,
there's plenty of takers to fill that role. So
and anachromic is right. Is that it's all about perspective, and I think a lot of times when I was stressing over politics, I lacked perspective. Absolutely. And I think I'm working on that now.
yeah, no, I think like you said, as you get older, you kind of readjust your priorities, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, some of
And I
those
got
things that you
kids.
were worried
I
about in your 20s or 30s were just not, not important now.
And the biggest thing of it is like I think when you're growing up, you look to others for your worth, you look to others for your guidance, you look to the outside world to fill your cup for you. And as you get older and older, you stop looking outside to fill your cup and you start to look inside to fill your own cup. So when I found my wife 11 years ago, when I got married to her, when I started this family, I started to get my worth from how my family saw me, how I was treated by my family, how I treated them, the interactions between them and how good of a father I am. Those things became what filled my cup, not whether or not my father-in-law voted for Trump. That no longer fills my cup anymore, and I'm better for it. I'm filling my cup. I'm defined by the things that matter rather than these outside things that don't actually matter.
Yeah, no, well said.
And it's
Yeah,
true story. My father-in-law did vote for Trump, and it was a big problem. But we're good. We're good.
yeah,
I
my
love I
my
love him. I love him very much.
my in-laws are very, Fox News on all the time, very very
Oh
into politics. So I try to
yeah,
steer clear of those conversations because
no,
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So
yeah. We don't talk politics anymore. It's a waste of time.
so you mentioned, my next question is going to be, we talked a little bit, kind of poking fun at the memes and really getting a perspective on what your wife thinks of it. But now, what about your kids? So you have two young kids. Are they do they have any interest in superheroes or comic books or any of the characters?
So, yes, my son loves Spider-Man and he loves that superhero stuff. And my daughter already has a short box of comic books that I've given her.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm gonna start working with my son too as he gets a little. He's only 3. My daughter's 6, and my daughter's started reading, and so I'm really pushing for her to be a comic book reader, and I hope to do the same with my son. But it's really in the beginning stages at this point. But she does have comic books, and she is starting to read, so we're getting there, man. I'm really excited about it. I think one of the things that I can't control that I do stress about is the influx of young minds into this hobby. I kind of stress about it in terms of allowing this hobby to grow into the future because when I look out on this landscape, we're all 30 plus, 40 plus, man, all of us, and there's a few exceptions, but most of us are old, and I worry about plugging in the younger generation, and I'm doing my part by making sure I'm plugging my own in for sure.
Yeah, when I go to my LCS, it's very rare that I'll see young free comic book days are the exception, right? There's kids usually there, and I don't know if it's the parents dragging them along just to get some additional books, or there are some kid books that are available on free comic book day. But
Hmm.
often when there's a young person in the my LCS, they're there for Pokemon
Manga,
cards
yeah.
or the Legos.
Hmm.
They're not really looking at the comics. Although, to your point, right? The young kids know who Spider-Man, based from movies and video games, they know some of the big characters. Miles Morales, the video game sold, a couple million copies. So there's a ton of kids that know who Miles is.
Hmm. And BLC, if you could be so kind as to remind me who the reigning Super Bowl champs are, I'd be appreciative of that. And Izzy, yeah, manga counts as comics. Absolutely, it counts as comics to me. It's a part of this medium, and for me, it's all about allowing a medium in the future where artists can draw and writers can write, and we can continue this medium forward. Because I do worry that it has a shelf life with no young people in it. And yes, Kansas City Current, great soccer team. I feel feels on with the soccer, but
Okay, that's what that was. I wasn't sure of the reference because I'm not a big soccer fan. So,
yeah, Kansas City Current, yeah.
all right. So, my next question is, all right. So you said your daughter's 6, your son is 3. So you're about to hit that point where they're going to be running around, whether it's playing soccer or baseball or music, or you're in that from like 6 to 11, 12 years old. You're in that you're going to be in that craziness with running kids around. So
Well, we kind of already are. She has gymnastics, she has dance,
yeah,
she has all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we're already there. Swim lessons. So yeah, I'm already
yeah.
there with her.
And now wait until your son is that same age, right? So because
Yeah.
I had three in that age group, and we were running to football games and cheerleading, and taking them,
Yeah.
driving them to friends' houses, and so. Do you think over the next couple of years is that going to impact your ability to collect and be on YouTube and that kind of stuff?
It absolutely could. I mean, it already does, really. Just, I mean, I'm a constant. If I'm sitting here in one, if I'm sitting in one spot too long, I get this stress. Like, all right, what am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be? I'm missing a kid. I'm supposed, there's that constant threat of like, what am I supposed to be doing right now that I'm not supposed to be doing? But will it? I'll never stop. You can always. It's a matter of you have time if you make time, and you have time for the things that you make time for. And I can't imagine not making time for this stuff. So I may get pulled out of it, from here and there, but I'll always come back for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I know because I've been through it with three kids. You're right on that. Running around. All the different practices, after school stuff,
Yeah.
chorus.
Calendar, constantly checking my calendar every day. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit with the next question. We'll leave the family be. One of my favorite. I have to go back and clip it. One of my favorite clips, and I think it on my channel, or was it where your kids scared the hell out of you when they
No.
snuck in behind you?
Yeah, I think that was an FOC and chill, or maybe it was your channel, or maybe it was Gary's channel.
Maybe it was Gary. Yeah, I remember what it. Yeah, it might have been maybe one of his,
When
whether
we
for
were on Gary's
the
together,
10
maybe.
1011, or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's
I
still one
made
of
a
my
clip
favorite
of it.
clips because I'm watching it and I see your son and daughter walk into the room, and I know you have no idea they're there because you didn't you didn't acknowledge them.
Yeah, that was genuine fear on that video. I clipped it and posted it to Instagram. If you guys want to check it out, it's a little old now, but I did clip it, and I put the us music to it, the scary music to it. It was pretty funny, and yeah, I was genuinely afraid. They genuinely scared the fuck out of me. I thought I was gonna die. What
So,
up,
all
Mellow
right,
Dope?
yeah, Mello's here. Appreciate Mello stopping in. So my next question is something that I wanted to know because I don't know the origin of it. So how did Lorenzo become your comic book dad? Like how did that friendship start? Because I don't know if I've ever heard you talk about it.
So yeah, what is it? January 2021. I got back into comic books. I was online. I started checking out YouTube channels. Comic Book Corner 2.0. Mike Spider Splayer was one of the first channels I know I found. And then Lorenzo Alternative. Well, actually, yeah, back then it was Alternative City Comics. Was another channel that I found. And so Scotty Vaughn and I met through Comic Book Corner 2.0, the Facebook group, and so we became friends through that. And then during the process of becoming friends, we both found that we were actually fans of Alternative City Comics, which was Lorenzo's channel. And so we would comment on his videos and stuff. In one video, I just randomly said, I just think you're so cool, and I don't have a dad. Would you be my dad? I just asked him to be my dad, and he agreed. And Scotty Vaughn was like, you know what? I think that's a great idea. Can I be in there too? And he was like, sure. And so me and Scotty Vaughn are both his comic book sons as a result of just being like, you know what? You're cool. You're old enough to be my dad. I don't have a dad. Let's work this out. What can we do here? And that's how it started. And then a little bit after that, I messaged him and was like, man, I would really love to jump on with you on your new comic book day show and just shoot the shit. And eventually he said, yeah. And starting beginning of last year, we started doing it together, and we've been doing it every Wednesday ever since. He hasn't missed any Wednesdays. I missed 2 Wednesdays, one because I got sick and one for Thanksgiving. But for an entire over a year now, every single Wednesday over at Indie Comics and Reviews, we do the new comic book show, and I look forward to it every week, man. It's one of those things about this community that will always bring me back for sure.
Yeah, and he's Lorenzo's well prepared during that show. He's got the
Oh,
slides ready, and
he's getting better and better. He gets better every month. He does. He's always adding little things to it. Yeah, and he's got that silky smooth voice that
Oh
everybody
yes.
loves. If you ever watch his reviews, it's just the music and the voice. It just hits for me. I really like his style that he's got over there. So if you're not subbed to Indie Comics and Reviews, definitely check it out. And if you're ever hanging out on Wednesday night and want a new comic book day show, we're always over there at 8 Central Time every Wednesday night. So definitely come hang out with us.
Yeah, I mean, his watching his videos when he even just does an unboxing and he's doing a voiceover of it.
Yeah, his
It's
voice.
just
Yeah.
it's very soothing. Like I can just
Mhm.
listen to it, and he's got a very calming voice. He just
Yeah. It's very good. It's good stuff. Highly recommend. But yeah, that's how I started. I was like, I begged him to be my dad, and he agreed. Is how that went.
But the comic book corner now, that Facebook group has brought a lot of
A lot of
people
us.
into the YouTube community, right?
Yes.
I hear, Tony Kamiverse,
C
collecting the
Bizzle.
Curs, yeah, C Bizzle. There's been a number of people that have
Yeah.
made the leap from that Facebook group to, starting channels.
Which is crazy because Mike Spider Slayer is not at all plugged into this community, but so many of his channel followers are, but he himself is not. It's kind of funny that way. You don't ever see Mike in any chat anywhere
Right,
ever,
right.
but his people are. I'm still in that group. His Facebook group is one of the reasons why I deleted my personal Facebook account because it just wasn't worthwhile to me. But I wanted to stay on Facebook for that Comic Book Corner 2.0 group, as well as the Pop Culture Floss. A number of comic book groups are why I wanted to stay on there. So I made a Circumstances profile so that I could stay on there without the baggage of my personal
Right,
profile.
right. Yeah, we were talking backstage about that. I think I'm pretty much at the point where I want to. I was thinking about. I've never like paused my Facebook account. Where you can put it
Yeah,
in some status.
deactivated. Mine's
Yeah,
deactivated.
yeah. So I think I want to try that for a little while and just see if I miss it because it's one of the platforms I very rarely use. And we were talking like political. When there's an election,
Oh
it seems
God.
to ramp up a little bit the
Yeah.
craziness. So yeah, I'm thinking that's one
I
of the
hate it.
things.
I hate it so much. Yeah, but I deactivated mine with the same thought of like, let me see if I missed that, and I did end up missing it, but only the comic book stuff, only
Right,
nothing else.
right. Not the other stuff. Yeah.
You know, like
All right.
there's a Kansas City comic book collectors group that I miss that group more than anything because it's a local group with local people and they're always setting up like local comic crawls and things of that sort, and I just really wanted to be plugged into that more than anything. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm part of a few groups, but most of them on Facebook are really just like auction. People selling books or doing
Yeah.
auctions.
I don't have
So
money, so I don't care about
yeah,
auctions.
it's just so I very rarely look at them because I'm the same way. Where like if there's something I want to buy, I'll go buy it. I'm not going to go,
Mhm.
on a Facebook group to try to find it. So
Boy, if I had a bunch of spending money, I'd be on Whatnot all day. I promise you I would. I would. I
yes,
would have so much fun buying shit on there. It would be a blast. I don't have money to do that.
yeah, yeah. No, whatnot can be very because it's a quick fix, right?
Yeah.
You can buy stuff very quickly over there.
Yeah, I had to delete. I put the app back on my phone, but when I initially used it, I got on there. I went crazy. I was like, "This is awesome!" And then I got the bill. I was like, "Okay, it's not that awesome."
Not so
And
awesome.
so I had to delete the app just because it's way too easy to spend money on there. And when you love comic books, it's that much harder to not just go ham. So I had to delete it, but I did put it back on because I plan on eventually selling on there. Actually, I've been a little lazy about setting it up and figuring it out, but I do have hopes and plans of offloading some of my comic books because I've got like 30 short boxes now, and that's
Oh
too
wow. Okay.
much. Yeah,
Starting
I
to.
need to cut back.
Yeah, I mean, whatnot is good. I did one or two, no, two or three different auctions. I used to sell a lot on eBay. I don't have a lot of books to sell right now, but um, whatnot was pretty. It's pretty easy to use. The biggest thing is you just have to build an audience because there's so
Yeah,
many people selling now
yeah.
that you may not get a lot of people when you initially start in the live stream, so you may not sell books. But early on, people were doing like starting books at $1 auction, and
That's what I plan is to do. So, and that was my entire plan because if you look at my YouTube channel, I did a video a little whiles back where I went to a local half price books here in Kansas City, and I went to a local vintage stock, which are places that will buy your comic books. And I just wanted to see, can I get $1 each for these books? Because if they had offered $1 each, I probably would have sold them because they were just books I didn't give a shit about. But when I went in there, half price books was like 38 cents a book, and vintage stock was like 28 cents a book. And I was like, no, I can't take that much of a haircut on it. So
Right.
I didn't sell, but I would absolutely sell for $1. Now with the fees and all of that, it'd probably have to be $2, maybe $1.50, but I would be perfectly fine selling a $5 cover price book for $1.50 and be happy with just to get it out of my house. So that's my whole attitude is I just got to get over my ADHD and actually figure out how to do it. Hopefully sometime soon because I need to pare down. I got 4,000 comics and that's too many.
Yeah, I'm at about 2,200, and I'm starting to feel like maybe I need to streamline exactly what I'm collecting. There's some books because when I first got back in like 2021, it was like drinking from a fire hose. Oh, I got to get this. I got to get this. I got to pick. Somebody
I went
mentioned this book.
ham.
Yeah, I got to pick
Yeah.
it up.
20 books a week at least. Yeah, absolutely.
So Flo's here, he's shouting you out. Flash, TJ, good to see you. Psychedelic. All right, um, so those are kind of the new 4 questions that I wanted to ask you. Like I said, we usually ask 4 standard questions and then 2 random questions. So my random question for you, and this, I don't, I thought about this a little bit today, because we talked about your wife and your kids. So, who in the comic book community would you not like to watch your kids? Who don't you trust?
God, who do I want to fucking call out? Oh shit. That's a tough question. That is a tough question. Who do I want to shit on? Let me think about this. I am gonna say that I would not want Tylocks to watch my kids. I'm gonna go with Tylocks.
Wow.
Because Tylocks just doesn't look like the child rearing sort of fellow.
Okay.
Sorry, Tylocks. It was the best I could do.
I get it. The mullet. He's got the robe on when he's doing live streams. It's a little strange. I've met him in person now a few times, and I can vouch for him. My kids are older, so I don't really.
I
have
love
that.
Tylocks. I love Tylocks. I'm just fucking around. John's Comics with Kids picks Comic Journey, which is not a bad choice.
Yes. He's an acquired taste. I mean, if you're meeting him for the first time, I think you might be put off by his, personality.
Oh man, Flo's got a good answer. Panda Awesome is another person that would be on that list. Yeah, that's a good answer.
That is a good choice. Yeah.
I don't know
Not
about
that I
that.
know that much bad things about Panda, but some of the questionable things I've seen him do on a stream, that's, I think leads most of us to believe that, right?
Truth be told, I wouldn't have a problem with anybody watching. Even Tylocks is my homie, man. He'd be good. Tylocks is good people, man.
Yeah, I thought that might be a good question to kind of, mix it up a little bit.
Shit on somebody, yeah.
So all right, so why don't we're going to ask a random question. So I have a list of 50 questions. So give me a number 1 through 50, and we'll see where we land.
My number in high school was 22.
22. Now, was this
Football.
what sport? Football.
Football.
Defensive back or?
In high school, I played both ways. I was a linebacker and a wing back / receiver.
Nice. Yeah. Very good.
Never came off the field. Good times. Miss it forever.
Yeah, I played football too. Yeah, one of those just being on a team and yeah. All right, so 22. This is an interesting one. What do you do to overcome a personal setback?
Cry about it. No. What do I do? I just I figure out how do I, what's the best course forward? How do I deal with it? I first come up with a mental plan to mentally deal with it, whether I'm pissed about it, sad about it, crying about it. You deal with that part of it. And then you figure out what your plan is to fix it, if you can fix it, or deal with it if you just have to deal with it. But I think it's one of my skills that I have is accepting things as they are and moving the fuck on, because my life has been a lot of just accept it and move the fuck on. So I feel like I'm pretty good at it, accepting what is. And thank you, John. That's my guy right there, my fellow dad bod revolutionary. I
I haven't
posted
seen
the I
we haven't
posted
seen
the
a lot
dad
of
bod video.
dancing lately, though.
Yeah, I'm retired, but I did post that video on Threads today. So if you have not joined Threads, I
Oh,
posted that it's the new Instagram Twitter, and I actually posted in a like it's like 20 videos long. I posted a thread of all my best memes. So if you're looking to just see all the top memes that I've ever done all in one spot, definitely go check out that thread on Threads and share the funny ones if you liked them.
whole could be a whole new audience over there. Namen, yeah, Namen, that's Remy Q. But now Remy usually there's no children. His children are not around when he opens the boxes with the chainsaw. And if you haven't watched Remy Q's new series, he's watching with his youngest son, Alistair. He's watching classic.
Batman.
He did Batman and he did Superman. So Batman '89 and Christopher Reeve's Superman. He's watching
That's
it for the first time
that's
with his son.
redundant. That's redundant, by the way. Christopher Reeves, Superman. That's like saying Superman, Superman. You can just say Christopher Reeves. We all know he's Superman.
Or I should have said 78, I guess, right? But so Remy's been watching it with his son for the first time, and his son's reaction to some of the scenes, action scenes, is just amazing. So
It's fun, yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
Remy
been
Q every Saturday night hangout.
yeah. Well, those were the 6 questions that I had. I was going to open it up to the chat, see if the chat had anything they wanted to know about Marcus circumstance.
And
We'll throw it out there.
while we're waiting on the questions, let's go ahead and do a plug for the Comic Book Community Awards. Nominations are going to be closing here in August. We'll be moving on to the finals, which will be really exciting to see what
Yeah,
members of the community made it to the finals. But you still have time to nominate if you haven't done it yet. So head on over to cbcawards.org and make sure that you are riding for the comic book channels that you want to see highlighted. They will not be highlighted. They will not get represented. They will not catch that love unless you go out there and push that love for them. So very important that you get your nominations in. I'm still going to do my nominations live. I've been waiting more towards mid-July. I'm going to go
okay.
live and do my nominations. And if I'm not too lazy, I plan to put a little effort into it in terms of just making sure that I highlight some people and give them some love when I do it. So look for that sometime in mid-July.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah, yeah. I spot check the nominations pretty much, once a day or every couple of days just to make sure things are moving. And we've had a little bit of a lull over the last like week or so, kind of just one or two trickling in. So I'm hoping that, and we're probably about. I looked at last year's nominations. We had we're about 2/3 of the nominations that we had from last year. So we're still under what we did last year, but I'm hoping that there's a lot of people that are kind of waiting to the end to get their nominations in. So, but definitely, some new names. And once the nominations are complete and we announce the finalist, I'm going to, on the CBC Awards website, we're going to put a full list of all channels that were nominated, whether they got multiple nominations or single nominations so that we can, highlight all of the channels that received a nomination this year. So,
And then definitely as we get closer, like I said, in mid-July, I plan to do my live. And then as we get closer to the deadline, you'll definitely see me putting some more work in terms of memes and stuff, trying to get the word out there. Because I really want to see the numbers jump a little bit this year. It's a really big goal of mine.
yeah, I'm hopeful that we'll get a push here over the next, we've got about four weeks left. And I just, we're giving away a slab. So we're giving away a John Jang 9/8 CGC Spider-Man #1 slab. And I actually just got I ordered it like months ago, and I just got an email today saying they're finally shipping it. So I'll actually have the slab in hand in the next week that I can show off and just remind people for throwing your nominations in. You'll get a chance to potentially win a nice little comic book. So
And we probably should do a better job of promoting that too, a giveaway. Make sure
yeah,
people know about that here before the end.
yeah,
But John, yes, it's a great question. I know you're a teacher, and I have a great respect for teachers. I probably should have been a teacher, honestly. Ever since I remember as early as first grade, just really being judgmental of teachers in terms of watching them very closely and determining what I liked about them, what I didn't like about them, what I thought was good, what I didn't think was good. And it's just really been something I've plugged into really hardcore. So I like this question. As far as your answer, three teachers come to my mind. My first one would be Mr. Loogie in sixth grade, which was my first male teacher. And I always had even to this day, I have a hard time with male authority figures because I didn't have a father around as a kid. And I have this, and I realized this recently about myself, where like a lot of times with male authority figures, I would try to win their approval by not bothering them because that was how I would win my approval from male figures. Like I always felt like I was bothering them. So if I didn't bother them, maybe that was a way I could win. And I found myself doing that with male authority figures as I grew up. Like I'm going to win them over by not bothering them. But Mr. Loogie was he was the first male teacher that I really connected with and really had fun with. He made class so much fun every single day. He wasn't rigid. He was a real human being. A lot of times teachers aren't real human beings in front of you, but he was always a real human being in front of us. And there was a connection there for that. So Mr. Loogie, sixth grade, Union Elementary School in Belleville, Illinois. Absolutely one of my favorite teachers. The other two teachers I want to mention were actually were actually in college. I took some summer classes. I went to Emporia. I went to Southwestern College. I played football in Winfield, Kansas. And then I transferred to Emporia State because I quit playing football. I just went to school in Emporia State. But the summer before I went to Emporia State, I took some classes at Butler Community College just to get some extra classes in. And I had a geology teacher there who blew my mind with the stuff that he taught me that I had no clue about, just all kinds of stuff I had just no clue about, like tectonic plates and things of that sort. But he also had interesting moral questions that he would talk about, like if you have spinal bifida or something like that, and if you have children, your children are likely to have spinal bifida too. And just the more, and he wasn't pushing the answer, but he would raise the moral question of should you reproduce if you're likely to pass something like that on along, and just conversations like that, not pushing agenda, not pushing in an answer, but pushing questions and pushing thoughts to be like, you think about these things that you never thought about
yeah, making
before.
you think, right? Yeah,
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. So, and I can't remember his name, which is sad, but my geology professor at Butler Community, and then my English professor at Butler Community College was a trippy dude. He was like a 60, 70 guy. Like one of the days, he told us all about his trips on LSD, which was really fun. But that wasn't why I liked him. The reason why I liked him is that all through school, I hated English. I absolutely hated English class. It was my least favorite class. I hated reading the material. I hated reading the stuff. And what this professor taught me first he taught me that I'm a good speaker, that I have good prose, that I can speak well and I can write well. And I didn't know that before him. He taught me that, and and more than anything, he taught me the value of that. I never understood the value of being able to speak, being able to articulate your thoughts, being able to form your thoughts in the first place, and put them to paper. And that was something that he really fostered in me, and he also fostered an appreciation and a love for that. So if you're going to ask me about teachers, it's going to be those three. And crazy enough, two of them are from Butler Community College. It's a college that I just went to for a summer, but they were spectacular, man. And thanks for the question. Yeah,
yeah, that
John.
was a great question and great answer.
And I'm sure that you're a great teacher, John, just from watching your channel and the way that you interact with your kids and how proper you are, which I am not. I am quite vulgar. I am the opposite of proper.
No, I
What up,
agree.
Sean?
John presents himself very well on camera and very when he's interacting with his daughters. So yeah, I could definitely see that translate into the classroom.
Yeah, you watch his channel. It's clear that he's always super aware that one of his students could be watching. he's, he's
Yes.
always hyper aware.
Yeah, Namen, the Namen nominates the nominator. I mean, that's a thing, man. You gotta run with that for the CBC Awards.
Get ready.
Shop is here. Shop First Creator. Appreciate you being here, Shop.
Check him out on Instagram. The Shopverse is growing every single day, and I am proud to be a part of it. Very proud.
I just saw. I think it was Comic Cap Collectibles. He unveiled one of the Shop First T-shirts that looked really, really good.
Very dope. Digger Jim, what's up,
Bigger
homie? That's my
Jim.
guy. Thanks for coming through, homie.
So yeah, if anybody else has any other questions in the chat, let us know. We'll grill Marcus with it. But Marcus, what else? What do you got coming up on your? I know you're doing you've got your Tuesday night stream that you run on your channel. You've got the Wednesday night stream with Lorenzo.
And then I have my comic book storytime series, which has been on a bit of a hiatus, but I'm really focused on bringing that back. My series on my channel called Comic Book Storytime, where I bring in members of this community to talk about a comic book story that they love, and then make an argument about that story, which I've really enjoyed. I've got 5 episodes of it so far, and I've been trying to line up Beckerman, Sleepy Reader, and Lorenzo for another season of episodes, and anybody else really who thinks if you have a comic book that you're excited about and you're passionate about and you want to make an argument about that book. I don't care if I agree with your argument. I will love to get into the studio and build a video with you making that argument and put it out there. And that speaks to the really my favorite thing about this series is that each episode is extremely different because each episode is the person's own episodes. Like it's not me. There's no me in it. It's all you. So the first episode was Beckerman talking about West Coast Avengers and why Hawkeye never, ever, ever deserved his wife Mockingbird, which she did not. And he makes a passionate argument about why that's true. I really enjoyed that. And then we had Sleepy Reader come in and talk about Captain America 153 to 156, which was an imposter Captain America that Marvel used to kind of retcon the communist Captain America. Because there was a story that Cap had disappeared until the Avengers found him in the 60s, but there are all these communist stories prior to that they had to retcon away. So that the way that they did that was to say that wasn't Steve Rogers, that was this other guy who was pretending to be Steve Rogers. So that was a really interesting. I learned a ton from his. And then we had Pocan Joe come in.
Pocan Joe, yeah.
He came in and talked about Junkyard Joe, and he related it to his own experience serving in the military for 12, 15 years. He served in Iraq, and he talked about how Junkyard Joe portrays PTSD and how it accurately portrays it. And he related it to his own experiences, which I was super nervous editing that one because I was like, I cannot fuck this one up. I just was crazy nervous because it was such good material. So, but yeah, just stuff like that. And as you can see, those episodes are all very different, and they're all based off the person that is coming up with it. So if you have one that you want to tell, I would love to work with you and tell it. I really enjoy highlighting this community this way. So yeah, that's my favorite thing doing. Hopefully get it back going. Sorry, kids are getting loud.
Yeah, no, it's a series I've really enjoyed. Definitely, you're seeing a different, a little bit deeper dive and more of like a serious look at some of the comic book material, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and Cali Comics talked about Beta Ray Bill and kind of mental health and self-worth, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, very good.
TM Nerdy's here. Happy birthday to you, sir.
What up, homie?
Birthday stream yesterday. A lot of people hanging out. But yeah, anything else you want to mention or discuss tonight before we, wrap up? I mean, we got to all the questions. We talked a little bit about the Comic Book Community Awards.
No, I think that's it. Yeah, just Comic Book Community Awards. If you haven't got your nominations in, please do. This is really a great thing that Brian does that brings this community together, highlights members of this community, gives people, exposure to different sections of this very large and diverse community. And I really enjoy what Brian's doing. So let's make sure we get our nominations in. And if you can share maybe a reel or two to your followers, just making sure your people are aware of it, I'd be super appreciative, man.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody needs, I share it on Instagram, but if anybody wants them directly, I have a couple of the promo videos we've done, a couple like 20-second reels with, all the information. If anybody needs them, I can send them to you directly on Instagram so you can share them on your story or on your feed, whatever you like. But yeah, we really just want to kind of continue to spread the word out. I think we'll get a bump, once the finalists are announced. I think people will get
Yeah.
excited because we'll have five people per
Yeah.
category, and then I've already lined up some of the community for the award show. I've got some help from DJ Links this year. He's going to be putting together some videos, to go along with it. So I'm excited, and I'll be reaching out to the community, as we get closer to December for the show to get involvement. Looking for some videos from the community to include in the live stream. And we've officially named the trophy the Louis this year. So for in honor of Free Key Louis,
Nice.
somebody brought up the like the Oscar. There's the Oscar. The trophy's called the Oscar. So we've officially named the trophy the Louis this year. So excited for that, for all of Louis's hard work and creativeness within the community.
Great
Um,
member. Yes.
yeah. So, and then we'll be bringing on a co-host for the awards this year, Marcus.
Wonder who that'll be.
So, to help along, so it's not not only me doing things. We want to continue to get as much community involvement as possible. So,
My biggest focus, man, I want to nail the skits this year. And I want to make sure they're funny and not too long. Because some of those skits weren't as funny and they were too long. Definitely want to do a better job this year.
okay, all right, you're laying down a challenge, right? All right, we can tighten it up, I think.
Yeah.
So, all right, TM, you got it. I'll send you some stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Push that stuff out, guys. It's not, this thing is community driven. So if we don't drive it, it ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I have one of the promos. Well, we have this.
If you weren't a winner, I'm sorry, loser. You didn't get a trophy.
And here,
I did not get a trophy.
speaking of promo, we'll run the promo. In a community where grown men and women make videos of their favorite comic books and collectibles, where men quit their jobs and follow their passions, sell all of their possessions to travel the country in a bus, seeking out comic books, take their shirts off and dance for your entertainment, I present to you the celebration of this community with the 2023 Comic Book Community Awards. The Comic Book Community Awards recognize the great community of creators from YouTube who regularly produce entertaining, thought-provoking, and slab-worthy comic book-related content. The goal of the yearly Comic Book Community Awards is to have fun and to recognize the entertaining, informational, and creative nature of our community members. The 2023 Comic Book Community Award nominations are currently open. Visit cbcawards.org to nominate your favorite YouTube channels and creators and make sure your voice is heard.
Indie Comics and Reviews, best comic book review. Let's get those nominations flowing.
I think I saw you in there twice too. You were in there.
I'm kind of a big deal.
But yeah, I'll send those over. Like I said, if anybody's interested, just send me a message and I'll get them sent out so you guys can share them. But Marcus, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it, man. Looking forward to the rest of the episodes. of this series, man. I'm looking forward to the live aspect of it. I think it's fun. You guys sucked asking questions, but hopefully the next shows will have better questions.
John
Thanks,
had a good
John. Thanks, John, for the only
John showed
question.
up. He showed up tonight. But yeah, no, next week we'll have Madam Blaster, Stephanie. She'll be on. First time she's been on.
I'll make sure she gets better questions.
So I'm going to ask her the standard questions. So, but yeah, and we're going to, and then we have Scott Vaughn, S Vaughn 82 is going to come back on. He's had a lot of changes and growth in his channel since he was first on. So
yeah, man, I remember talking to Scotty and being like, bro, because Scotty was on that Comic Book Corner 2.0 group, and he would always make posts, and he was just always so passionate and always so informative. And I was like, man, you have so much passion for this thing. You really should be in this YouTube channel. And I remember just trying to encourage him to start it. And then when he did start it, kind of encouraging and helping him. And now the dude needs to encourage and help me because he blew past me, man. What the fuck? Like,
yeah, he's got his live stream going. Yeah,
he's twice as big as I am now, and he's killing it. And I'm proud of him, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's been good to see. He loves doing a live stream on Monday nights. He's promoting the heck out of it. He's, bringing on some guests, some artists. It's really good to see him kind of hit his groove with his channel. So
look forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him back on. So, all right, well, we'll wrap it up. Marcus, thanks again so much. Be on the lookout. Get those nominations in. Be on the lookout for Marcus's live nominations that he's going to do later this month.
Should be fun.
So, tune in to see, who he likes and who he doesn't like. And but I appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat tonight. And if you haven't seen Marcus's first 411, where I asked him some comic book questions. The link is down below. Go check that out. But Marcus, thanks so much for being on, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Peace out, everybody. Good to see y'all.